And we are live. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to A Bookish Moment. I'm Sarah Burr.
And I am J.C. Kenney, and it's exciting to welcome the fabulous guest we have today who's going to take us up to the New England area, I believe. So, Sarah, I think it's time to get bookish.
Aye, aye, sir. I am definitely ready to settle in and have some joy and lighthearted conversation, some fun. We're here to just relax, enjoy each other's company, and hopefully brighten your day for those of you watching. We are delighted to welcome Kara Lacey here as we chat about her debut caught on camera from the Camera Club Mysteries. So, Cozy Mysteries, we're ready to go. Kara, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me.
We're really excited to be able to dive in and kind of explore how Bobby Brooks, your protagonist, came to be, how she went from living in Boston to moving up to beautiful Green, Vermont. But before we get started, I do want to say hello to our wonderful viewers who are joining us this afternoon. We have Mizan saying hi, everyone. DHB saying good afternoon. The Fashionable
Folks,
Bookworm saying hello, everyone. And I still can't get over how much I love that username, Fashionable Bookworm. Fabulous.
yes.
You guys, if you have any questions for Kara as we go along in the show, feel free to pop them into the chat. We have Rose saying hello. We have Christina saying hello. Some familiar faces cheering Kara on. While everybody is getting settled in, if you wouldn't mind just kind of introducing yourself to our readers, tell us a little bit about your background and maybe what brought you to writing Cozy Mystery.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Kara. I live in a tiny village in Vermont, very much like my fictionalized, well, my village of Stonebridge in my book is very much a fictionalized version of a conglomerate of towns where I live. The tiny little town where I live does not have a coffee shop or any of that good stuff.
Man.
I know, sad, sad. But yeah, so I used to live in Boston and worked at downtown Boston, and I used to spend my weekends up here in Vermont for probably about 15 years now. I've spent my weekends up here in Vermont, and the whole time trying to figure out how we could come up here full time. And about 6 years ago, we pulled the trigger, quit our jobs, and here we are. So I had no intention really of writing a book. It was just one afternoon I was sitting down, I was having a cup of tea with my mother, and my mother is a huge cozy mystery fan. She's the one who got me into cozy mysteries. And I just kind of said to her, I think I'm going to write a book. And she was
Nice.
like, "Well, okay, what are you going to write about?" And I said, well, I think I'm going to write about a middle-aged woman who moves to Vermont and starts a camera club. She goes, I don't think I've read anything like that.
Well,
So,
that is so cool. So I got to ask, since you kind of set me up here, why a camera club? Kind of brought you to the decision to have that be Bobby's thing?
well, I'm an amateur photographer. I'm into
Okay.
photography myself, and that kind of started back in my blogging days, and when I met a bunch of really great women online, and we kind of formed a camera club online where we would, critique each other's work and set up challenges for each other. And
That's
the
cool.
more and more I got into photography, it just kind of became the thing, I guess. And then, if you want another story, uh,
Yeah.
okay. Um, One day, I used to, when we'd come up to Vermont, I always had my camera with me and I was always taking pictures. It's really pretty here. If you've never been here, you need to come. Um, but I was walking around with my camera and I went into my village's little country store, and there was a man standing there and he noticed my camera. And so he started asking me, like, what have you been taking pictures of? And we got talking. He was telling me a lot of places that I should go to take pictures. And then as he got ready to leave, he goes, you know what? You really should start a camera club. And I was like, well, that's not happening. I have a full-time job in Boston and all that kind of stuff. But so, yeah, I never did, but Bobby did. So,
Nice. We want all the stories, and
Yeah.
we have our viewers. We have Christina saying, "I love the camera club." Mizan saying, "I would love to be a part of a camera club," and also Farmhouse Reader chiming in with a happy Tuesday all. One thing that I absolutely love about Bobby's kind of journey from moving from Boston to Vermont is that in many cozy mysteries, you have a sleuth who kind of joins groups or inserts themselves into existing organizations and such that are in their community. But Bobby actually starts the camera club herself, which I thought was a really fun twist. So I'm hoping that you can kind of set the stage for us, Kara, about the transition that Bobby is in life. She unfortunately has kind of suffered some heartache and is looking for a fresh start. Set the scene for us about her moving to Stonebridge and how her camera club becomes the focus. Ooh, did you see what I just did there?
I see what you did there.
Comes the focus of this murder mystery.
Okay, so Bobby was recently widowed. I mean, it's about a year has passed, or a little more than a year has passed since her husband died. And she's in her mid-40s, so she's a little bit young maybe to be a widow. Her sister lives in Stonebridge. Her sister's lived there for like 20, 25 years, ever since she got married. And she was the one who basically, the way big sisters can kind of boss their little sisters around, kind of says to her, "You need to stop wallowing. There's this great house in the middle of town that's for sale. It's got a great barn out back that could be renovated for a studio. You need to come look at it and move forward with your life." And so Bobby was kind of like, okay. And so she did. And I mean, she realized it was a scary step for her, but it was a good step for her to leave her job. And she was opening a photography studio as part of her transition also. So the reason she started a camera club was partially to get some buzz going around her photography studio, and also partially because she had always lived where she lived and was used to being part of the community. And it was just really important to her. Like, she has a strong sense of needing to belong. So it was just really important to her to form her own community and, feel like she was part of it. And so that's why she did that. And it was something she had to offer to the community, and something fun to do.
So, speaking of the club itself, when the book opens, it's the club is like, we're talking brand new.
Brand new.
Yeah. So can you talk to us a little bit about kind of the setup and, why I don't want to give anything away, but why, you set the book to begin at that point with just like the first meeting of the club is about to happen.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she needed to have a little bit of a challenge. And so she's got this group of people who aren't necessarily friends or wouldn't be friends otherwise. And I kind of always do have this sort of thing about like what I think of as like accidental communities. They're not really accidental, but like groups of people who wind up coming together and bonding together who wouldn't normally be friends. And so that's kind of what was happening. And it was a group of people who she knew some of them, but not all of them. And she was having a little problem pulling it together. There were a couple who were clashing, and yeah. So I mean, it was just something to try to bring together a group of fairly quirky, but not overly quirky, I don't think, people together, and give her a challenge that she has to work out.
Well, she certainly has a lot of challenges to work out, because not long soon after, she comes across a dead body.
Yes.
I hate it when that happens.
Yeah, but I also love it too. I love the setup, and I mean that's why I love cozy mysteries so much, because we have these individuals who are not trained investigators, but they feel the need. That's like, you know what, I need to seek justice. So what is, in this instance, Bobby's motivation for getting involved with the murder of one of her camera club members?
She was a prime suspect.
Oof.
I know.
That's the one that's always like the most like high stakes intensity one.
Yeah. Otherwise, I mean, I think of Bobby as probably in the same way I would be a very reluctant sleuth. Like she doesn't really want to be a sleuth, but um, and then the other thing too is it kind of starts to come out in later books, some of her backstory, whatever. But her father was a defense attorney, and so she inherits from him a very strong need to see justice done. Um, so like she just can't sit back and in this case watch herself get railroaded.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
anybody really.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, just want to take a second here. We got a couple of comments from our wonderful friends joining us. First off, Chris said she considers the invitation, she has considered your invitation to come to Vermont to be a real thing. So be on the lookout. And then
Okay.
Rose says that big sisters can be bossy. You know, I have 5 older sisters, so yes, I will agree that yes, big sisters can be bossy. Even though, as a little brother, I was the baby, so both my brothers and sisters said that I had it way too easy. Anyway, enough about me. I would like to talk a little bit about kind of the setting in general. Vermont. Because I know a little bit about it because I'm a huge Grace Potter fan. Grace is from Vermont, and she has talked about Vermont and how much she loves it for literally as long as she's been a recording artist. So could you talk a little bit about, the if there are things that you maybe embellished about your setting, or if you went in with the intent that, this is my home, I love it here, I want to share, my love of my community with the world.
It was really more the latter. And also the realization that at some point the people in my town were actually going to read my book. I was really very nervous about something because I do poke a lot of fun. Vermont is a quirky place. It really is. It's beautiful, but it's just incredibly quirky. And I do poke a bit of fun at it, but I actually poke more fun at Bobby for not fitting into it than whatever. And I was nervous when the people in my village, I was actually really surprised because I don't know a lot of people here, even though it's a small village, like I moved like right before COVID, and then I got all caught up in writing my book. And, I know some people, but not a ton. And when the book came out, my community was really excited about it. So I was pretty nervous, and there was this one woman in our village. She used to run the village store, and she knows everybody. And we think of her as like Mrs. or the mayor of our town. We don't have a mayor, but that's kind of the way we think of her. And I was nervous about her because, like, I use the term. There's a term woodchuck, like old Vermonters are called woodchucks, but they wear it with it's like a badge of honor to be a woodchuck, actually. I'll never be a woodchuck. And that's kind of sad. But no, she really liked it. And the villagers really all kind of, although I did have some um, kind of like trying to figure out who was who, and I kept saying, nobody's anybody, nobody's anybody.
Yeah.
They're all fictitious.
That's gotta
It's like,
be.
yeah.
That's always like the nerve-wracking part, especially like not only like locally, but like within like family members too. They're like, "Who's this in your life?" Or who are you creating? It's like, guys, it's fictional. Like we make it up in our heads.
Yeah.
We have a lot of folks in the chat, Karis, saying about how gorgeous your pictures are that you've shared of your home in Vermont. Chris says the pics of your town are gorgeous. Rose says Vermont is so picturesque, and I agree that your photos are also gorgeous. And Chris says all small towns are quirky. 20 years in my village, and you're still a newbie. And for me, I moved to Maine when I was very young, but that I'm still like an outsider, or I'm still somebody who's from away because I was not born there. And I feel like that's I don't know if that's like a New England thing, but I don't tend to like necessarily hear that as much in like other areas of the country, but maybe it's just because I don't live in the other areas of the country.
Yeah.
But your comments about Vermont, I have visited a few times in my life, and my favorite moment of being in Vermont, I was driving. I went to school in upstate New York, where my grandparents were also living at the time, and we were driving to Vermont for a family reunion. And I was in the car with my two grandparents and my grandmother's sister, so my great aunt, and she was from Colorado. We're driving through Vermont, and she is just in the back seat, like, oh, these mountains are the most beautiful mountains that I've ever seen. And she is talking all about the mountains, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure there are a lot of mountains in Colorado. But she was just like, could not stop talking about the mountains. So Vermont definitely has gorgeous, beautiful green mountains. That's one thing that I was like, I vividly remember.
Yeah. No, I love it here. This is, in my dedication in my book, to the people of my town, I said, you guys were my soft place to land for such a long time. Like during the stressful years that my husband and I were working in Boston and coming up here on the weekends. The people here, I may never be a woodchuck, and I may always be a flatlander, but it's said with enough affection that, like I don't feel like an outsider. So,
and I'm pretty sure like Vermont is like it's the safest state in the U.S. And like I know that like my husband and I, when we talk about, it's like, well, where's one place that like nobody can reach you, that you're kind of landlocked by several other states, and it's like that our game plan. It's like get to Vermont if we ever need to get out away from the ocean.
Oh, well, I love the ocean too, but yeah.
Well, I want to ask about one character who I'm a fan of, Darcy, even though I'm a cat guy. Can you talk to us a little bit about Darcy and his role as a very good boy, I'm sure, every day of his existence with Bobby?
Okay. Well, Darcy's based on my own dog. I have a yellow lab also. She's a she though, and for whatever reason in my mind, Bobby's dog was one of those big, broad male labs. But you know what? To be honest, I couldn't picture her not having a dog. And at the same time, if you write pets in books, I don't know about you guys, but I find them challenging to do that. Like I have to have a whole round of editing at the end that I call "Where's Darcy?"
Yep.
I forget. She'll be at home, and sometimes I forget. Like he should be greeting her at the door, and he should probably be doing something goofy in the meantime. And I love Darcy too, but sometimes I forget that he's there. So he's a little bit of work for me, really.
I would agree on the dog front, because dogs require a little bit more maybe interaction, or just like, you got to take them outside. You got to make sure that like you're feeding them. I know you feed your cats as well. But dogs to me have just always, you have to take care of them more actively. And so that's why I've like switched to writing cats, because it's like, like you can have your electronic litter box that takes care of itself, and you can have their electronic feeder, and then they're there when you need them to be, but they're also like very aloof, and it's like, I'm not going to be in this scene. So I'm there with you on writing dogs, because I'm like, crap, I've got to get like Hazel home so that she can walk her dog instead of like going off on another tangent of the mystery.
Yeah. I enjoy him though, when I finally do get around to giving him his due, but when I had originally planned the series, I wanted her to have a stray cat by the end of the first book, and I was just finding the animals way too challenging. But I am introducing a second dog in the third book. But
the third book, all right. So let's get that. That's news. And we've only got about 10 minutes left, unfortunately, and this has been so much fun, but just kind of let me back up instead of jumping right to 3. This is the first book in your series. Right. And so can you tell us, and it's been out about a year, so congratulations on your 1-year anniversary of almost Caught on Camera. So you mentioned a third book. I'm assuming there's a second book somewhere in there somewhere then.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's a second book in the final editing stage, not my final editing, my publisher's final editing stages, and should be coming out this fall. And it takes place in the fall. It jumps forward about 4 months and takes place during Stonebridge's annual Harvest Festival.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. The Harvest Festival kicks off with a masquerade party, and during the masquerade party,
everyone's got a mask
another dead
on.
body.
I thought you were going to say it kicks off with a mass murder. I was like, wow, that's really dark for Vermont.
Very dark for a cozy mystery, right?
Yeah, I was like, whoa, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
She just, I mean, this one, the body drops pretty darn early. It happens like right at the party. So,
Okay.
you gotta love like jumping right into the crime. Did you find that there were like what's the difference between writing book one and writing book two? Were there any challenges that you encountered? Was it easier? Was it like what was your experience like?
Interesting. Writing book two, I don't know. I had a lot of fun with writing book two, actually. I mean, some of the challenges always are, like introducing the characters again. And in my first version, I introduced too many characters too fast, and my critique partners let me know about that. So it's great to have critique partners. So I think I fixed that because I mean you're starting a book during a party, and then the body drops during the party. So there's a lot of people who kind of need to be there, but I think I solved that problem. But yeah, no, I had a lot of fun with the second book. I mean, and a little bit more of Bobby's backstory comes out in little bits and pieces throughout the second book also, so that you get to know her even a little bit better, and like what drives her. And her mom comes into this book, which she's only a phone call in the first book. So there's a lot more family dynamics going on.
Nice. Well, that's exciting, and very much looking forward to seeing what Bobby is up to next. As we begin to wind down on our moment together, Kara, we've got actually quite a few comments to catch up on. But before I do that, I wanted to let folks know that we are doing another giveaway today. Kara has generously offered to host a ebook copy of Caught on Camera. We're doing our same giveaways email. We're going to do that as our new process going forward. And so I'm going to switch our screens for a moment so that you guys can see our email at giveaways at itsbookishtime.com so that you're able to jot that down if you need to. Carol, what should they put in the subject line? Because we always do like a magic word that people can just put in the subject line to let them know that they're interested in the entry. It's always something that's fun, related to your book. Doesn't have to be anything intense. Just let them know what word you'd like to use.
Oh, I'm not good at that. I don't know. How about Darcy?
Darcy. Perfect.
Perfect.
We can have our four-legged friend as our giveaway beacon. So folks, email giveaways at itsbookishtime.com. Put the word Darcy in the subject line, and we will announce our winner at the beginning of our next show, which you're going to see a familiar face at because we are actually doing a big bookish hour this Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. We are joined by the ladies of Murder They Write, which is a wonderful Facebook group that hosts takeovers, shares insights into their writing and their lives. Kara is a member. We've got some of their fabulous members in our chat right now. We're going to have a wonderful time. And so while folks are emailing in for the giveaway, I do want to catch up on some comments. We have Rose saying, I grew up in a small village in Nova Scotia, and we use the same expression, you're from away. Rose, that makes me think of the musical Come From Away, which is absolutely fabulous, and talking
I
about
love that
how,
musical.
oh God, it's absolutely beautiful. It's about, for folks that aren't familiar with it, it is a plane was diverted to a small town in, oh, JC, I'm blanking on where they go.
Gander.
Gander, yes.
Yeah, they end
In
up the Gander Airport.
Yes, and on 9/11, so these folks who were traveling into the United States are diverted to Gander, and just this beautiful story of a community coming together to help all these people in a time of crisis. I think it's actually available to watch on Apple TV, if
Yes.
anybody is interested. And Christina says, Rose, I think that is an East Coast expression. So we got an East Coast versus West Coast thing going on. Mizan says, that's why we have cats. Her cats are very good about minding their own business, except at feeding times. And also
Yes.
says, congratulations regarding having books 2 and 3 in the works. Rose is looking forward to reading the rest of the series, and yes, in Newfoundland. I was like, what was the
Yeah.
the province? I was like, it's not Nova Scotia. It was the other. I was like, it's
Yeah.
the other one. So yes, such a great show, and so that's also segues into our segment where we like to kind of get an insight into what's keeping you entertained these days, Kara. What are you reading, watching, listening, consuming? Anything that you'd like to recommend to our fabulous audience members to add to their to-be-done lists?
Okay. Well, I just finished reading Adrian Andover's new book, Whiskey Business.
Nice.
As well,
Fun.
yeah, as well as Leah Dobrinska's new one, Troubled Waters. Right now, I'm reading a romance cozy called Juniper Bean Resorts to Murder. I hadn't tried one of those before,
Yep.
so I mean, the romance, I guess, is the equivalent. It's not a subplot; it's a plot. Let's see, what am I watching? I am watching Madame Blanc. If you've heard that, it's a cozy mystery set in southern France. I'm a setting person, and I love that setting.
Hmm.
I love this show too. The characters are great. And listening to whatever Spotify tells me to listen to, basically. I
Nice.
pull up my day list every morning, and that's what I listen to for the day.
Oh wow. What
Nice.
what type of style of stuff is it? I'm always curious. I use Spotify very rarely, but
Um,
I am always like intrigued by how like it puts stuff together for you.
yeah, it's pretty wild. It does a pretty good job for the most part. I mean, every once in a while I have to not listen to it, and it gives it really weird playlist names. And a lot of times I get these like depressed early Wednesday morning, weepy Wednesday. Like I'm like,
Weepy
I'm not
Wednesday.
depressed, but it is kind of a gross Wednesday morning, so I guess that's okay.
Weepy Wednesday. I love that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. Mine's more on the folksy indie side.
Nice.
But, yeah.
JC, what's entertaining you in the last week since we spoke?
So yeah, I'm kind of going yin and yang, light and dark here. On the light goodness end, my wife and I found the Great British Sewing Bee on Tubi TV. So it's kind of like it's very much in the same vein as the baking show, but it's all people who sew. Because some of you may know my wife, lovely wife Nancy, she quilts. And so it was just we heard about it, so we started watching it, and it's just like it's a sewing version of the baking show. It's fun, nice people. You see some of these amazing creations, and so that's been a real pleasure. It's one of those that just makes you feel good watching it. You also may know, if you followed the show for a couple of years, that we're getting near October. Every year in October, that's when I get my spook on. So I start watching spooky stuff, and I am getting a little head start on it this year. So I just watched season 1 of American Horror Story, and it was a lot of fun. It was fun. It was interesting. I didn't get as scared as my wife thought I would, but that's okay. So that's kind of what I've been doing, and I've been listening to a bunch of Jimmy Buffett too, which is a real shock to nobody. So how about you, Sarah?
So I am also doing a yin and yang with my recommendations. I recently watched You're Cordially Invited, which is Will Ferrell and Reese Witherspoon in a wedding comedy. I love wedding comedies. I don't know what it is about weddings, but I just find I love movies that are about them. As ridiculously silly as it was still really fun. And I enjoyed it. I watched it on an airplane, so I was like laughing out loud, and that weirdo in the cabin that people are like, what is she doing? Like, what is she laughing about? So that one I thoroughly enjoyed. And then, we watched also, we were kind of inspired by our talk that we had with Jack Anderson, because he talked to us about writing horror and being really into horror movies and coming up with screenplays and such. So over the weekend we watched Cloverfield, which is a older like found footage movie that I was just like very tense the entire time. I won't say that I was like scared or like really like shocked during it, but it was basically an alien invasion of New York City, but it just felt very, very real, with people making ridiculously stupid decisions.
Yeah.
It was too intense for me, but I appreciated the effort. So like, take what you will. I don't know if I'm recommending it, but if you're into that kind of thing, like maybe you would enjoy it. And then last but not least, I want to give a shout out to the Crime House production team. It's a new like podcasting podcasting producer where they have so many amazing shows that they create, and they just launched a daily true crime show where I get a feature in the morning about the headlines and what's going on, and then in the evening I get like a deep dive into a current case that's dominating the headlines. So it's just like true crime all the time, which is what I love. So that's those are some recommendations. Crime House. A couple other shows are called Killer Minds. I think I've mentioned some of them before. Killer Minds, Money Scams and Murder, and then this one is True Crime Daily. So those are some new ones out there. We have Chris saying, I love Madame Blanc. Mizan is going to check out those recs on Spotify. Alma, welcome to the party. We are beginning to wind down, but you can always rewind and catch up on what happened. But we're very happy that you're here. And then Fashionable Bookworm says, I am loving the Inspector Lindley reboot. Ooh, I'll have to check that one out because that sounds like fun. Fabulous. So I always love leaving with more recommendations than I come with. So thank you, Kara. Where can people stay connected with you so that they can keep up to date on book releases, book news, all of that good stuff?
Okay, so everything I have is pretty much under Kara Lacey Author. Then my Instagram, my Facebook, my Substack, and also my website is it's probably HTTPS, KaraLaceyAuthor.com, where you can sign up for my website. My newsletter there, or directly on Substack.
Perfect. And that's a
Nice.
great segue for a Substack shout out that we have that JC is going to talk about.
Yes. So, speaking of Substack, we have some exciting news. We have started a new venture where folks who are on Substack, if you would like to follow us there, you can find It's Bookish Time there. And also, we are now offering an opportunity for a premium subscription where, in addition to getting commercial-free replays of the show, which is really, really cool because you got to love YouTube, but they love their commercials. You can watch us without commercials. And we're also going to give you some extra bonus content that no one else is going to get to see. So you're going to be kind of like with the in crowd. And we're going to do that. Our first one is going to be tomorrow. And I'm really excited about this. We're going to do a reveal of the cover and the blurb for book 4 in the Elmo Simpson Mysteries. The title is called Buried in the Sand. And the only way you're going to find out about it is subscribe and follow. And come on. We really appreciate all your support. We love you all, but it does, especially on Sarah's end, it takes a lot of time and it takes a fair amount of money to keep this broadcast going. We're in our 5th year. Any support, we're not going to try to lean on you too hard, but if you want to help us out with a little bit of cash with a subscription, we really do appreciate it.
Yes, we do. It's you can do $6 a month or $50 for the whole year. We also another perk you get if you are an author or anybody that actually in the bookish community that would like to come on to the show and chat with us. You get priority booking. Our schedule right now is booked out until March of 2026. So if you have a release that's happening in the next couple of months and you want to come on to the show, if you're a subscriber on our Substack, we will make room for you and squeeze you in so that we can help you promote your book, because every book deserves its moment.
Yes.
So our premium subscribers will get to see the gorgeous cover of JC's new book. But we really, really appreciate all of your support just by being here. Our
Yes.
live audience members, you rock. And the folks that watch us after the fact, you taking time out of your day to be here with us. It always means so, so much. And we really, really appreciate it. So we have another show this week. We're going to be coming to you at 8 p.m. Eastern on Thursday. You're going to be seeing Kara again. We're going to be talking cozy mysteries galore with the wonderful authors of Murder They Write. If you aren't a member of their Facebook group already, make sure that you hop on over to Facebook and request to join. It's a fabulous group of wonderful authors, highlighting others, lifting others up, having other author takeovers, just a wonderful community, and we can't wait to talk with them. So again, that is Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's going to be a full hour of content. So, and it's going to be, how many people? It's going to be like 10 people. So it'll be
It's going to be out of control.
It's going to be out of control, but we're going to have a fabulous time. Real quickly before we sign off, a couple comments in the chat to go. We've got Fashionable Bookworm saying Good Ship Murder is a great show too. Highly recommend. Absolutely love it. Fashionable Bookworm loves the Elmo Simpson series. It is the most Florida mystery series I've ever read, and that is a really great, the most Florida mystery. I love it. Mizan, thank you for being here. And Chris saying, love your new venture. Looking forward to seeing you all Thursday. It's going to be fun on Thursday. Yes, it is, Rose. We can't wait to party with you guys. So thank you, everyone, for being here. Wishing you a wonderful rest of your Tuesday. We will see you soon. But until then, stay bookish, everybody. Have a good one. Bye.